and welcome to Strange Solution. I'm your host, my name is Darren, and this is Wacky CCG. You're probably wondering, hey, Darren, why don't you have any cards loaded? Well, that's why I wanted to create this video. I am currently, early last week, earlier this week, my computer went into the shop on Monday, and I was going to put out a recording on Tuesday because I had already pre-recorded all of Zoey's playthrough. So that's my primary computer, and like Adult, I save to it instead of putting stuff like in a cloud. So what I'm hoping is that those particular files will still be able to be retrieved once I get my computer back. So I'm not going to re-record just yet. I'm going to give it 1 week. 1 week from today. If I don't have my computer back, I will post then on what the status is, what I'm expecting, and how soon I might have my computer, and go from there. If it doesn't look like if I get my computer back and I have those files, then I'm just going to put it out, continue to put out the stuff that I've already recorded. If I get my computer back and it doesn't have those files, my plan is to re-record with. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. My plan is to re-record where my deck was at the end of the Dunwich scenario. So I do have it. I do have that information in ArkhamDB, so it won't be that difficult to recreate that deck to that point, and I'll just finish up the rest of that campaign and get that put out. Hopefully, starting that same week. So I appreciate your patience. Just be patient with me 1 more week, and hopefully I'll start getting some more content out. In the time being, a few people have asked me if I would be willing to create a how-to video on how to play Arkham Horror the Living Card Game. Well, I've thought about it for a bit, and I would be more than glad to do it. However, personally, I just don't think I have enough traffic on my site and enough subscribers for me to do that. For new players, it seems to me like the people that are subscribing to my channel are people who already kind of know the game. They've watched me play, and I kind of just blaze through things. I don't read the cards very well. I just kind of like make a lot of assumptions and just blaze through the game. Now, again, I will be more than glad to do a how-to video. If enough people reach out and say, "Hey, Darren, I would like for you to do a how-to," I'll do it. But I've had maybe 2 people ask, so I'm kind of a little hesitant to do that right now. However, in the meantime, while you're waiting for more content from me, I thought I would at least list, and I'll put them at the bottom of this particular, in the comment section at the bottom of the video. I'll list all the people that I'm mentioning now. And I'll even put a little thank you at the end of the video, I hope, to them as well. But I wanted to at least go ahead and mention now some folks that I think, if you're wanting to learn, or even if you know and just want to watch another person play the game, I wanted to mention them as well. So I'm going to start off with one that I recently ran into. They're called Out of Ammo, Out of Time is the name of the site. And I apologize to you. I do not recall your name off the top of my head. So I apologize. I've watched all your videos, so you'd think I'd know it, or everything that you have out up to this point. So you'd think I know it, but I don't. This, as an FYI, he is not for newbies. He is not afraid to admit it. He is a lot like me. He's not afraid to admit it, but I love what he's doing. And I think anybody who enjoys this game will enjoy watching what he's doing. Short description, basically he's taking The Gathering, which is the very first scenario in the box, and he is playing through it with each investigator with their suggested starting deck from Fantasy Flight. Now, if any of you, yeah, I can hear you going, ooh, if any of you have read those decks, you know that they are not optimized, and in fact, they're probably actually pretty terrible. He does really well, though. Like, I'm a little surprised sometimes at how well he does with these starter decks. It's kind of made me rethink going back and checking them out again. Pardon me. But, and he's playing through it with each investigator, and they get a score based on how well they do. And eventually there'll be some sort of ultimate winner. I'm not sure what his plan is, but it's hilarious and it's great to watch. I will admit he does make some play mistakes, but doesn't everybody? I make play mistakes. Everybody makes play mistakes in this game. So, and sometimes I don't think he makes the most optimal plays. There was one, especially with Rex, I'm not going to talk about it much more than that I think he did a little bit of a suboptimal play and could have blown the whole thing out of the water. But watch his videos, you'll get it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, next I wanted to talk about one. Again, this is one that I relatively recently ran into. The name of the channel and the host is Cat Weasel. I enjoy him a lot, and that's Weasel with a Z, Weazle, Cat Weasel. I highly suggest, especially his playthrough of the Gathering with Roland and Wendy. If you are new to this game, watch that playthrough. From the very first video to the very last, he talks about each of the phases. He talks about the investigators. He talks about the icons on the cards. He talks about it's very, very well done. Especially if you're a newbie and you're trying to learn to play, I highly, highly recommend checking that out. So I definitely highly recommend checking out Cat Weasel. Now, he'll admit he makes some play mistakes. He'll admit them. He usually posts them in the next video. And he corrects for them, etc. So, yeah, check him out. I really enjoy his stuff. Next, one that I wanted to mention, The Whisperer in the Darkness. Great tool for learning to play the game. He plays on his channel, as well as he talks about the cards, the breakdown of the cards, etc. Really good, very good channel. His production value is off the scale for what he puts together. And he literally just today is August 30th, he literally just today posted part 1 of a 3-part series on how to play Arkham Horror. So I've not watched any of it yet, but I'm going to, even though I know this game probably too well. I'm going to recommend it sight unseen because I know his production value. I know how good he is at this game and how well he adheres to the rules. I highly, highly recommend The Whisper in the Darkness. Check that out. Check that channel out. Next, I want to talk about Twisted Tentacle Inn and my brother Vase, the Innkeeper. I ran into his channel one day as well, just looking through stuff. Love him as well. He plays live, much like Cat Weasel. He plays with physical cards, and you watch him play. Still very good high production. Like, you can see the cards. I like how he overlays the cards with digital, like you see it digitally. He'll bring it up to the camera, but he still puts it up digitally, so it's easier to read and see. Very well done. I enjoy him a lot. I kind of feel like he's my brother because he also plays true solo. I mean, so does The Whisper in the Darkness, the man from Lang. But Twisted Vase, I really am enjoying him. The next channel that I wanted to give a quick shout out to is The Wandering Took. Now, they also do Lord of the Rings. I don't mind that so much. They openly admit that their channel has both things. They haven't put out something in a while, so I'm been a little worried about them. I hope they haven't given up on us. I really enjoy their stuff. I think they're very entertaining, and look forward to more of their gameplay. There's also a channel, Miskatonic Test Lab, which I enjoy. The next two, Miskatonic Test Lab and the Atlas Agency, I enjoy both of them very much. They're mostly talking about cards, per se. They don't do so much as on the realm of playing, by and large, on their channels. But if you want to learn about cards, highly, highly recommend them. Then one last note, podcast, there is the Arkham Chronicle and Mythbusters. Pardon me, not the Arkham Chronicle. Pardon me. Wow, sorry guys. Mythbusters. And, wow, I said Arkham Chronicle earlier. I'm going to come back to Arkham Chronicle in a minute, though. But Mythbusters and Drawn to the Flame. Before I talk about them, I think I inadvertently glossed over the Arkham Chronicle when I was talking about YouTube channels. The Arkham Chronicle, so I'm still going to suggest them. They've kind of moved away from just doing Arkham stuff, which I am honestly a little bit sad about. I'll be the first to admit, I get nothing out of this. It's entertainment for me. I wouldn't care if I still had 0 subscribers. I would still make this channel because I love this game so much. I feel like I know the rules way too much. Among my play group, I'm kind of like the guy who knows how cards interact with each other, and granted, sometimes I forget things. I'll be the first to admit. You've watched my channel, you've seen me make play mistakes. I enjoy this game a lot. So even if I had no subscribers, I would still do this because I enjoy it. And part of what drew me to them at the beginning is they're very short videos, and they did setup videos on how to set up a scenario, and then they talked about each pack, how the icons were divvied out, how much each card cost, divvied out, etc. I loved what they were doing. They've moved away. They no longer do setup videos, which really makes me sad. They still talk about each pack, and they're talking about stuff outside of Arkham. So I still suggest them. I think they're very entertaining. They're funny, and they still know a lot about the game. They know a lot about the cards, and they're still a good resource. But it might be something a resource for it after you've learned a little bit. And you do have to kind of look around their site to find just the Arkham stuff. Okay. Now, lastly, and I apologize, I want to go back and talk about the podcast. And this time I will call you the right name, the Mythbusters. They have a podcast. They have a YouTube channel. They haven't updated it in a while. It's basically a breakdown of all the player cards by class. I think they're too far behind at this point to try and pick it back up. If they ever wanted to think about somebody that they could put into that position that just does that and just have one person, I mean, just saying, I like this game a lot. But, I get it. They have 4 hosts. They each talk about cards, and I like their podcast a lot. Let's talk about their podcast. I like their podcast a lot. They do, I think it's 4 or 5 hosts. I always get a little confused by it because sometimes there's some not there and some there. So I do get a little bit confused about how many hosts they have. And their podcasts can go a little long. They usually go up to 2 hours. But very good information. They're very knowledgeable about the game. They give great opinions. Their thoughts on combos and how to make different cards work with each other are sometimes, I think they're profound. I hear something that they suggest, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's amazing. So I highly recommend listening to their podcast as well. And then finally, final note, I'll mention the Mythbusters. Or I just said Mythbusters. Drawn to the Flame. Drawn to the Flame is also a podcast, and it's totally a podcast. I don't believe they have a YouTube presence. Although, guys, you might want to think about it. You guys, so their production value is very good. There's only 2 hosts, so their episodes are a little shorter, typically around an hour. Sometimes a little over, but typically around an hour. But I just really enjoy their thoughts. They typically, they do card openings, they do some gameplay, they talk about the game, they talk about rules, interactions, and just, they are very knowledgeable, very good. I love Drawn to the Flame. Not that I don't love the Mythbusters. I love them for a completely different reason. But Drawn to the Flame, sorry Mythbusters, Drawn to the Flame, you're probably my favorite podcast out there. You guys, just even out of video and everything, you just are very, very knowledgeable. and funny. I love your interactions with each other. And hey, it's me, Pita. Every time I laugh every time. So yeah, I wanted to mention them as well. So there's a large list. Again, I'm going to put all these at in the bottom of the video there. So look for that as well. Um, and then okay, the other thing, a couple of people have also asked me if I would be willing to do a how-to on Lackey. Now I know I have one video somewhere I've meant to look before. I believe it might be. It's in one of my playthroughs. I talk a lot about how to use Lackey, pretty specifically. However, I would not. Again, I would not mind making a series of videos on just how to use Lackey, specifically with Arkham Horror Living Card Game. However, I will say there are better videos than I could probably make out there, hands down. Better production quality, better commentary, just everything. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best at like teaching on, teaching how to use something, in this particular kind of environment. I'm a little bit more of a hands-on teacher with somebody one-on-one. However, again, I wouldn't mind making some videos, but if you go to the Lackey webpage, LACKEYCCG, if you just Google that, find their homepage, they've got great videos. They're very well produced. I think if you dig around a little bit, I think they even have videos on specific games like Arkham Horror LCG. So, or pardon me, or Arkham Horror, yeah, the living card game. So look for that. Again, if there's enough requests, I would consider making another specific here's how to use Lackey video. I think that's all the news and announcements and promos that I wanted to give right now. Again, just one more time, I appreciate your patience while I'm going through this difficulty of not having my regular computer. I do hope to get this out, get out stuff. I'm probably not going to do anything new until next week, and I hear back about my computer. So just be on the lookout. When I hear back, I'll post another update video and let you guys know. But as always, if you want to get in contact with me, you can always leave a comment below. Like and subscribe to my videos. And then if you want to get in contact with me other ways, I'm around most of the places as Jacques Steampunk, including wow, I can't talk all of a sudden, including Discord and the subreddit. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.